Hey, hey. Oh, this is an early one. Yeah, I woke up at like 6 o'clock to, oops, all my alerts going off. Oh, my Mac's falling over. Hold on. Bear with me. Yeah, I just thought I'd do this as a stream this morning because there's really no point in doing a video. Let's just watch this and see what happens. I'll put this all into a video later or something. Okay. Good morning, PP. Good morning, Joel. Good morning, Luxury. Good morning, the French Bull. Good morning, everyone. Or good evening, or good afternoon. Yeah, we'll start this. I got to pull this up on the stream. My Discord's being weird this morning. Let me reload it. I think I need a coffee this morning. I've just got a cup of tea, but I think I might need a coffee. Okay. Cool. Bitcoin. Let's have a look. So, 48k, we are there. Let's pull this up on the screen because the legend has called it. Called it up here at these highs. And where are we now? We are at the lows. 48k was the target. 48.6 was the daily naked point of control. So yeah, we have our cipher, which has now completed. 786. There or thereabouts, 76. This isn't on Magnet actually. I claim no credit for this cipher. This was all Luxuries and anyone else that did spot it. If we were to get the 786 like perfectly, then we come down to 47 basically. Oh no, I'm on log. Yeah, no, this is cool. Let's lose that. Let's lose that. These were just from my alerts last night, so I was looking at us to kind of, if we got caught in this area, this is where we were looking. So that's good. This will now, oops. Yeah, the daily can stay on there actually. This will now become a bearish order block. Wow. Oh, let me just check then this is my live, isn't it? I think it's public. Let me have a look. Yeah, visibility public. So it should all be live. Let's go to my stream. Oh, that's a 4-hour close. Yeah, we got a bounce here. that now has to be the low on a 4-hour time frame. Otherwise, goodbye divergence. We could always come down, but yeah, that's That's about as low as you want to go on a 4 hour close there. We will be that, yeah, if you're RSI, so look, so that's 30 on the daily. Cool. Yeah, I think this is the buy the dip. I think we've got it. I think that was really quick. 26% correction. That's, yeah, decent enough. Yeah. It's so frustrating, isn't it, when you see this? Like, I shorted up here, but I closed it like back at this daily. So what could have been it's always hindsight, isn't it? That's the thing. And I'm not like a swing short trader. I just don't do swing shorts in these kind of markets, but that would have been so nice. Yeah, because that high was really clear. That was our 1-to-1, and no, it wasn't our 1-to-1. It was our 618 extension, and it was our 1.272 up there. So, and also our 1.26 of this. Yeah, really nice. If only. Let's have a look on Exit. I'm going to look at this stuff just because when we do have a big move like that, I do like to look at momentum. The breaks do look like they're being applied. We have this. I always like to see this on a 15-minute, which is this 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Starts to roll over onto the hourly. We've already got the 4 hour, as long as we do not get a close below this point. If we do close below this point, yeah, that would look pretty bad. That's like on the next 4 hours, so this has to get a bounce soon. Otherwise, like 4 hour momentum anyway is like lost. But yeah. Morning, Martin. What do you think about the coming weekend? So I was actually saying this to a member yesterday. So I was doing a session with a member, like a 1-to-1, and they were asking like what would be your sign off as like a last little word before we go into the weekend, because that was the last time I was going to talk to him before the weekend. And I basically said like the weekend trend, more often than not, is counter to what the week's been doing. So we've had a really bearish week, like a really, really bearish week. We've had some really nice trading going on, but the week is awful. Like that is a terrible, terrible weekly candle. But that gives opportunities over the weekend. And I think especially with this being a Friday, I think this has been an opportunity for people to sell in this area, knowing that they can buy back lower. This is so going into the weekend, more often than not, it's counter to the week's trend. So this whole year we've been really bullish, and I know someone yesterday pointed out that that like 17 of the last 20 weeks, I think, if you'd have shorted on the Friday and then, or if you'd sold on the Friday and bought back on the Monday, you would have been in profit. That's because like the last 20 weeks have all been a bull market, like really, really bullish. So 17 of the last 20 weeks have been really bullish. Often when you have these bullish weeks, like last week was a really bullish week, and then we had a bearish weekend. This week we're having a really bearish week, and you would think now we're looking at this, well, 50k would be, so you could think we get a bounce, probably back into this daily. Like I'm not anymore looking for like an immediate move back up to all-time highs. I think this is going to take some time, and I think we're now like well and truly back in the range, and we could hit the range lows now. Whether that happens today and then we start to form a range in here, then that's cool, or whether we do start to turn things around and then we can look for something like this. Yeah. If we do come down this low, it's still a valid cipher. So we can get the 886. So that does come down here onto our monthly. Like this wouldn't, here is better. You'd want to do the 786 instead, not the, yeah, we still do have room. But yeah, that's a possibility. Where is our fixed range from here? So we're at the point of control of the old range. So we're right at that now. That daily naked point of control is gone. That is done. Exo still does not want to load for me. Let's just cool. Paulius, alts are already destroyed. Yeah, alts are getting hammered. And that's only a few percent lower. It's another 5% move. It's like it could happen. We're moving down there, but we're at this point of control. We are at an area of interest. Like this 47 to 48.6 area is an area of interest, the same as these lows were the other day. Yeah. Okay. Buy the dip. Yeah, so it's crazy that I think those of you that have known me long enough, you'll know how bearish I was getting when we were making this move back in February. Just because this was like, that was just extreme greed back there. So I sold like a really significant portion of my Bitcoin holdings here. And I haven't bought back in at any point. Like I was, when we were up here, I was saying like this is going to be like a few months consolidation. I wasn't really expecting us to come up like even higher. So yeah, like I've bought back in. Like I bought a little bit back in when we had, well, like here. But again, like 48.6, I had some buys, and this is just spot buying. 48.6, 48k, and then I've got some more that I will buy if we come down here. And then again, if we do come down this low, then we have 38k. I'd say that's probably alt season, depending on what Ethereum does, but I'd say we're probably looking at alt season like being over for now. But again, like last Friday was when you should have been scaling out of alts. Ethereum. But to be honest, like it still doesn't look. This is just coming back to test support. This is our monthly. So this is the level that I was saying. This is like where we need to close the month above. So we've got another week left here. So if we do close the monthly above, then things are looking good for May. If we don't, then I think Ethereum is going to come back down to this 0.037 sats area. So that will be, what will that be? Ethereum's still at this support level, so that's the circle I drew yesterday, and that's what we've got. Yeah, if we do go into an extended, if alt season's over and we do see a retracement on the Ethereum pair back down towards 0.037, if Bitcoin keeps ranging, then, or even comes down to 38 or something, then we could probably be looking at like 1,720. Oh no, that's not an important one. That's not a weekly. We'll probably go back into our point of control. But again, like, yeah, this is the trade for now. So this would be what it's been doing all the time, is just back testing previous highs. So that's the trade. I'm not going to bother looking at week, like down lower. I think there's still probably a lot of people that wanted to get filled on this weekly that didn't. Cool. Yeah, so I think, did you just ask in the Discord about the Elliott wave stuff as well? What I'll say about the, so email, what I'll say about the EW count, I did mention it yesterday, but for the Elliott wave count that I've got on Bitcoin, that's not really valid anymore. I'd say if you want to get some really good Elliott wave stuff that's really up to date, because I just do more, I'm more about the price action rather than the Elliott wave at the moment. But so the French bull, like really nice Elliott wave stuff, really nice Wyckoff stuff that he posts in the Discord group. So I think you were saying about, is this the end of wave 4 yesterday, weren't you, in the Discord? And I was thinking kind of on a macro term, but I guess you mean this. So we have our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So I didn't have an Elliott wave count for this. What I was kind of looking at was like an ABC. But this is a really nice 5 count here. So I didn't have a 5, I just had a 3. But this looks really nice. So yeah, we'll have to see what happens at these lows. I think, yeah, hopefully that updates you on the Elliott wave stuff. It's easier than me drawing out on my on a chart now. Like, we've got people in the group that are really good at this stuff, and are like constantly on top of it. Whereas I'm just looking more like at the day trading side of things and what we can get on each day. Okay, so where's this golden pocket here then? Yeah, we got this weekly down here. Like if we're going building swing positions, then 38 down to 48 down to 45 is quite nice. Now we can see XA. What's going on? Throwaway saying isn't good time to accumulate alts. I think we need to wait a little bit on altcoins, like the buy the dip for alts came like last weekend. Again, alts have been doing really well this week. So the dip you would have wanted to buy on a lot of the altcoins would have been after this move down. After this one, I think we're seeing a lot of alts on, like, I don't mind things because Bitcoin's moving down and has lost this support. I don't mind seeing altcoins losing this support on the USD pair. But what I don't want to see is alts starting to lose their Bitcoin pair support. So Ethereum's fine, Litecoin's fine. But we need to look at like a lot of these majors. Cardano. I'm still waiting for this monthly level, so I think that has more to go. I think a lot of the ones that had really nice runs are probably going to continue to consolidate for a while, so I'd only buy the dips on the stuff that hasn't yet moved. Wow, that was really nice for Acro. So that weekly level. Yeah, you got to look on the macro stuff. So that was really nice. So we've got this weekly here. So I'd say, yeah, depending on the asset, we've got some good dips that you can buy. You've got to look on both scenarios. So this would have been that trade failed, but at least we got to take profit on the weekly. Yeah, Acro looks decent. Let's like continuing a range here. We've got, I think Aave was one that looks nice. Like that was the buy the dip on Aave. That was last weekend, and we're moving up still from there. We've had our, so what you'd say with accumulation here is this monthly weekly area is our, like, I guess your reference point. Like this is the area that you don't want to be losing properly. But what you often get with a nice reaction is you get a spring, then you get a back test of spring. So if you say this monthly is our reference, we come down into an order block support here. Then we back test that once, twice. And so Aave is one that looks really good. Band looks choppy as anything. So I probably will, yeah, don't see anything really on there. Oh wow. Bat took these lows, so that would have been nice. I really wanted it to hit this monthly, but it hasn't yet. BZRX still looks okay. But yeah, a lot of things you see, like their Bitcoin pairs, like this was last weekend with that initial dump. A lot of them are making higher lows now. So if they're still making higher lows from last weekend, then that's pretty nice. If they're not making higher lows and they took out the low from last weekend's dump, that was a good buy. So yeah, I'd say it's like 50-50 on alts. Some of them look awful and look like they're going to reverse. The ones that have just had nice runs already. Filecoin's holding out really nicely. GRT, I know I bought some GRT today. So this was just off of our, this is like the global point of control. That came into my little squiggly round line. So that got filled. Carver. Like that's a nice, so far that's a nice reaction. So yeah, you've got some good stuff going on a lot of the altcoins. Yeah, that's the GRT bounce. So again, that's the reason why I had my circle there. That would be the one. Yeah, I'll go. So these weekly levels, this is what I always say. It's just such nice stuff. These weeklies, these monthlies. If you want to just, these are things that you need to do with spot though, because they can always wick much lower. Ocean's got killed. Wow. Wow. Look at that. So if you bought the dip on Ocean just to come up to your next resistance, you'd like double your money. And I'm still bullish on Ocean. That's one. These are the coins that I think we're looking at as these ones that are just, they haven't had a run yet. And if you look at, we could just go a massive inverse head and shoulders kind of thing. Yeah, anything that's been moving, anything that's been hyped, I think you can say goodbye to those. Reef, I would expect, has lost. No, Reef's still okay. It's still clinging on to this weekly. Somehow, it's still clinging on to this weekly. Like, this is just the easiest level in. Every time, it's just clinging on. I'd be amazed if this holds though. Like if this holds and gets out of this accumulation, if this weekly can hold on Reef, I'd be really surprised. I think we'll probably end up doing something more like that. RSR's looking good. Sol is finally coming back down. SRM. SXP. So Swipe looks not quite so good. So that had a nice accumulation, failed, and we're back below. Okay. So I will go back to Bitcoin in a minute, but we're still at like those same areas on Bitcoin. I just want to scan the alts. Yeah, there we go. Uni, typical. What do you do when you poke your head through the highs and things are looking a bit toppy? You come back. And Uni. I do trade Uni, so let's see if we've got the setup's gone. I should have woken up earlier for all this. We probably got a weekly level. Yeah, well, I'd say that this is your reference now on uni. We don't want to come back into this as a range. So we've had our, you got your range high, you've got your low down here. We had the deviation here. We come back to what would basically be the midpoint on our weekly. And if this can hold, then it, at the moment, it could be another deviation of the range. We could come back into the range. Yeah, so this is your reference point on uni BTC. We don't need that. We don't need that. VET. Again, VET, if it can close, I'd say the month or the week, like as long as we're not getting like too many daily closes below here. VeChain still looks okay. So at the moment, yeah, it's had a great run. But that's a nice reaction from VeChain. So if it can bounce here, that's okay. Yeah, XRP is probably getting a bit destroyed. XRP just is doing what Bitcoin's doing. Okay, XLM will be doing the same. I don't trade XLM. I don't trade XMR. Tron. Lows of this range for Tron. Took the low just about. Yeah. Next G, Biden. It is so silly, isn't it? Like this the bull market FUD that you get. Like, is this really the best they can come up with? Yeah, like capital gains tax. If you're in crypto, you're not going to need to crypto taxes. Come on. Yeah, like Biden's plans for taxes probably won't get approved. They're only a rumor anyway. They're only like a maybe. And even if they did get approved, it's going to take longer than this bull market for them to get through the Senate and everything. It'll probably be like next April that they'll come out, by which time we're not going to be in a bull market for another year. So yeah. I may be wrong on that. I don't know. I haven't looked at the news, but just from hearing people panicking, I'm like, well, changes to tax don't happen overnight. Luke, can you give me some advice, pros and cons for trading BTC USD versus BTC futures? What I tend to do on Bybit is I mainly trade the inverse perpetual, so I mainly trade the Bitcoin futures. But I will quite often hedge. So I have an account within my Bybit. So I have US dollars within Bybit as well. So I will convert out of Bitcoin into USD, and I will hedge on there. So like if I'm going to short, I will hedge with my USD side. So I know a lot of people like they prefer to short the inverse perp and long the USD perpetual. Yeah, I mainly just use the inverse perpetual. I do have the USD trading, and I'll often hedge on there. So if I want to take a short and I've got a long open, I'll do that on the USD, or I'll just do it on another account. Yeah, does that make sense? I don't know. Let me just pull this cipher back up to here because 7.6. Whoops. Oh, you mean, yeah. Sorry, yeah, what you're saying about the futures not having funding, I don't even use that. Yeah, I've not yet used the what do they even call it on here? Oh yeah, inverse futures. Yeah, I don't trade the inverse futures. Wow. So BTC USD 0625. Is that on, can you get that up on here? This is really interesting. Oh, it's not showing on, oh no, that's the USDT. No. Yeah, basically the I didn't realize this. Because I haven't traded this before, but the futures, so the Bitcoin futures on Bybit hit 48k last weekend, and now they're at 51k today. So they've done the opposite somehow. Is there a way I can get up the chart? I just want to, without doxing myself, I want to bring up this chart on Bybit, but TradingView doesn't have it unless it's on XO. Oh, XO, I hate it. Here's a nice bounce. This is really interesting. BTC USD 0625. Let me yeah, they don't have the futures on here. Alright, let me just do something. I want to bring this up on the stream just so everyone can see what has happened on the... Whoops. Bybit. Inverse futures. Okay, here we go. This is the craziest chart. So, we see here how last weekend Bitcoin came down to 51k and now we've just gone to 48. This is whoops. this is the Bybit futures, where we came down to 48k, where we are today, and now the futures are at, well, they're at 50. They were at 51 when I was just looking a minute ago. Yeah, now they're at 51k. That's really, yeah, I like that. So if you were trading the futures and you were looking for this, that would have been so nice. So it's just on the opposite of what the rest of the market has done. Yeah, as volume is so low, it's easier to move the price around. Yeah, like I don't trade this, and I don't think I would trade it until yeah, unless they get more volume. But that could have given that was actually a really good sign. So when things are like when we have low liquidity and things, market makers do move the market, and then price often follows afterwards. So if someone wanted to give like a really clear sign that we're coming down to 48, and you have this, and that's where the target is. Yeah, we used to get this on BitMEX all the time. Like BitMEX would just wick down into a area of support, and everyone would be like, "What the hell was that?" And then price would just suddenly start following it down. Yeah, I need to keep an eye on that. Yeah, I do want to add to my long here. The more I'm looking at this, the better it seems to look. EXO is not working this morning at all. Yeah, thanks Martin for mentioning that. That was a really interesting thing we just found. Every time I stream, I miss all the price action. It's like I started streaming yesterday when we were at these lows, and Bitcoin just stayed at exactly the same price. And then as soon as I went off stream and went to bed, we crashed. And then this morning, Bitcoin's just hanging around down here while I've been streaming. Sorry, I keep missing everything. I keep missing all the moves. Oh, look at that. This is the target I had in this range, and now look at it lining up. If we can get a long into here, that would be so nice. And then if we can get a short back to here. Yeah, just thinking. And then oh, and then what that gives us would be this massive head and shoulders. So if we do bounce here, then we'll have this like enormous head and shoulders forming. Simon, honest question, just got some cheap BTC. Should I have waited longer? No, I've bought some BTC this morning. So I have moved a significant amount, well, like a fairly decent amount of the Bitcoin I sold up here, back into Bitcoin down here today. So I could have sold higher, but I didn't. I did short up here, but then I closed it way too early. What is dollar's dropping still? ES. Oh wow, look at that. Was that, oh, that was the announcement yesterday, wasn't it, on ES? Wow. UK markets, for some reason, because the US is announcing stuff, the UK market's like, oh my god. UK market is so awful. Yeah, it's that, isn't it? There to there. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Yeah, let's have a look at some traditional markets. Yeah, because Bitcoin's not moving. It's not doing anything. Can I pin my Discord link? Can I pin my Discord link? Oh. No. Stop talking. Do you have any idea of the world's spread in crypto, I imagine? No, I don't really know where. I'd imagine most of the holders of Bitcoin are China and China, Korea, and USA. Then you've got a lot of emerging markets where a lot of their economy is moving that way, but people don't really trade it. Yeah, I'm not really aware of. I'd just guess China, Korea, USA. Then Europe's probably all fairly equal. Yeah, silver does look good. This consolidation that it's having underneath here. And gold the other way around to the consolidation it has been having, but now we've just lost that level on gold. Oil. Is uranium still doing well? Yeah, uranium's still nice. Solar will get a nice bounce, won't it? Because of it. Cool. Kitty Link, is there a safe area to long Bitcoin? We're at an area of support now. So we are at an area of support right now, this 48k region. I'd say if we can like me personally, I'm not going in on leverage positions, leverage longs now. But I am buying spot. Yeah, so I'd say like here is as low risk of an area as you like. Here's a low risk area to long Bitcoin as long as it's not high leverage, because you don't know what's going to happen. But you could have it as this, and then you can average down lower, which is my plan. So I would average down to this monthly here, down to 45,200. So I will average into Bitcoin on a position trade down to 45,200. I have started that position and I'm happy to average down lower. So that would be one thing, like not financial advice. There is no financial advice here, but when there's a lot of fear in the market, that's when you need to be looking to buy. Everyone is so scared now that we've lost this low, but I think that was inevitable. What I was looking for last week was I was thinking we were going to get a move up and then come down, but we never really got that move up. We did, and we had some really nice trading within that range, but we never had the move up into like the serious resistance. So I would average into Bitcoin on a position trade down to 45,200. I have started that position and I'm happy to average down lower. So that would be one thing, like not financial advice. There is no financial advice here, but when there's a lot of fear in the market, that's when you need to be looking to buy. Everyone is so scared now that we've lost this low, but we never really got that move up. We never had the move up into like the serious resistance. this move now just gives us more confluence for this resistance area back at 59 to 60k. So that almost makes that area even more of a nice target now. So yeah, I'm perfectly happy. Like if you're, I think if you're scared of moves like this on any market, you're risking too much. Like if this is really, really damaged your portfolio and like you've lost a life-changing, like maybe you'd made life-changing money and you've lost it all from this drop, then you were way too exposed up at the highs. And that's just a lesson that people have to learn, is like you cannot be exposed heavily when you're up at these highs. We were aware of resistance. It's really easy to draw the resistance if you don't know how to do it. Just learn your fib expansions, learn your one-to-one extensions, find where resistance is, and trade based off that. So we had levels here to be aware of. So anything within this region was like just reduce exposure. You don't want to be exposed when you're up here. Like, yeah, you can hold spot Bitcoin, and spot Bitcoin, if it goes up, you're making money. But you don't want to be in leveraged positions when you're up here, really. Or not leveraged long positions when you're at the highs. You want to get into positions low, and then if we can start to reclaim some levels, that's where you can add leverage. And then you can keep your entry nice and safe, because dips always happen. There'll always be a dip. There will always be a pullback. You can't. No market goes up forever. So if you get pullbacks like this, that's when you get back into positions. Yeah. SK. Way to expose and didn't set a stop loss. Yeah, so these things do happen. And I'm not going to be one that goes on to stream and saying like you're an idiot for buying the highs or for being overexposed at the top, because you're not. Like it's really hard when. So I'll just explain this from like if people are like really hurting at the moment and have lost a lot of money from this move back. That's happened to me before. Yeah, I've done that previously. I've done that many times in my life. And yeah, what happened is we were in a 2-month consolidation period that was looking really bullish. We broke out, and yeah, that looked really good at the time. But as soon as we started to come back down, like this was our back test, and at that point we needed to make another higher high. This lower high here was the first sign, I guess, from like a price action perspective, that this could be getting a bit nasty. Then we come back into it again, and then we fall back into the range. And as soon as we fall back into that range, like it's very unlikely you're getting back out of it. So that would be the invalidation. Just falling back below and getting resistance again from the top of this range. That's a pretty good sign that things aren't going to work. So if you know how to trade ranges, and if you can learn how to trade ranges, then you just need to be aware of those things. Like at the time, this looked really good. The same as yesterday, Ethereum looked really good. I made an Ethereum video yesterday, but that was more just a fun one. Like you got to play the YouTube game. I was not expecting Ethereum to just go ripping on upwards. But yeah, so yeah, it would have been very easy to get overexposed at these highs, like really easy, because you could have been like, oh yeah, we've broken out, great, okay, great, I'll buy more on the back test, this is going up. You never make that higher high, so you never get a chance to really sell this. and then you don't have an invalidation, and then you lose that trade, and that's when accounts get liquidated. That's when positions get really damaged. But you'll people will learn from that. Okay, my worst wrecked experience. Let me just go through. So Kitty, Esh, I'll just share. So what do you mean add leverage halfway? So 1x and then change to 5x midway. Thanks for the comfort. Right. What I'm saying is that you can, again, no financial advice on here. This is just kind of my opinion and what the way I like to do things when we have moves down is I'm happy to average in at areas where I feel there is support. Now I will average in and I will make sure there is no leverage on that at all. So I can go in on a cross position, like fine, I can go in across, but I know how much money or how much Bitcoin I have on that account, and I will not let it get above 1x. So let's say I have $1,000 on my account. I might buy 500 here, and then I'm basically 0.5 leverage. I might buy another 250 if we go down. I might buy another 250 if we go down again. And I think that's like the easiest way for newer traders and for just building swing positions is you can just average in with confidence that the market at some point, the market isn't going to continue going downwards. You could probably have your invalidation at these lows and you could try again down here, but you wouldn't lose too much of your overall portfolio. Then if you've built a good position, so say we reverse now and we start to range here, then you can start to add in more, like let's say we create like a triangle. Then you can start to build that position and start to add leverage to it. Because the longer this goes on, and if things can start consolidating and this low starts to look like it's going to hold, then you can start adding to your position on lows during the consolidation or during the range. Knowing where and your validation just then starts to move up. Like the market starts to gain confidence that this is now the low, for example, as this might be the low. So as the market starts to gain confidence that the low is in, you can then start to build leverage. So what you would initially lose on having this as your stop loss, so this is your risk to reward at the moment. So say you've started building a position here and your stop loss would really have to be down here at the moment. If we start to consolidate, then the more confidence the market gets that the low is in, you can start to add leverage, but you need to be pulling your stop loss up. So you're only risking the same amount at that point. So eventually, like if we do form a really nice consolidation here, and let's say we have like a triangle that forms, or we have the easiest one would be if it's like an ascending triangle or something that starts to form, then you can start to see like, okay, this might do this, it might do this, it might do this, and you know then that that's your invalidation, so you can start to add to your position there. Then if it comes down, you're only losing, you're not losing really anymore, or you're only risking a small amount still, but you stand to gain a lot more if we do get a bounce. So that's how I personally play it, is that you can start building a position, and then as you gain confidence in it, you can start to add to it. And that's what I mean by adding the leverage. But when you're doing that, you have to be moving your stop loss up as you're going along, so you're only risking the same amount. So then eventually your stop loss comes to here, you've recognized that the pattern is forming, you're confident that this low is going to hold. If it doesn't hold, fine. you can try again down here. You've not lost anything. So that's, yeah. Cool. So hopefully, hopefully that helped. I'm going to share as well. So Martin asked what my worst wrecked experience was, and it's very similar to what's happened here actually. Like this is really similar to last March. So my worst ever trade was last March. This is I lost like a whole account here, one that I'd been building. So it's awful to think about now, like how much more I would have if I hadn't have made this stupid mistake back in March and hadn't like recognized the signs earlier. But yeah, I've been building a really nice account through this whole bear market. I was going long down here. I'd made a load of money down here. I'd recognized the top from the pattern that was forming. I sat this out, a lot of this move. And then we had, yeah, then we started to get like this really nice inverse head and shoulders, and I started to trade this up. And at this point up here, I'd like 4x'd my account from this low. And then I started adding way too much. So then I got overexposed at the highs because I was getting way too confident and way too cocky. And this, like, Bitcoin took out these highs. It took out a load of resistance that was there, and it was looking really good at this 10K area. And then we started to get this COVID stuff happening. And we did something very similar to what we're doing at these highs, is we started to fall back into a range that was forming. We started to make this high, then we made a lower high, then we made another lower high, then we had our first kind of crash. And then we had like this week where we had a range, and yeah, then COVID happened, and I was just trying to add on the way down and lost an account on the way down. So that was the worst trading experience that I'd had, because instead of being able to buy this low, I'd lost an account that I'd been building for like the last couple of years. But yeah, that was one account lost. And then it never happened again after that point. Like I then learnt it's not worth it. It's really not worth it to get overexposed on these highs. Yeah. Cool. Oh, I just got to mute the mic a sec. I just got a phone call. I'll be back in a sec. I am back. Yeah, I think that happened to a lot of people back in March. It was one of those that, yeah, like you can be a good trader and you can get caught out on times like that sometimes. The same as a lot of people could have been caught out here, but yeah, that's why I just prefer to trade like the price action as it comes. And now if a trade goes against me, I know where my invalidation is. So as soon as we lost these lows last night, that like I was out of that trade. Where did the daily open? So yeah, the daily looked okay on the open. I think that would have tricked a lot of people into staying in positions. Luke, did you take time off after that? No. No, I actually traded more actively than ever after I lost that account. I still had other accounts, like it was one account that I lost, and I still had, so I'd say it was probably like a third of my Bitcoin that I lost back in March, but I still had 2/3 of it left. And yeah, I just carried on trading the way that I had done. And I just, because at that point, like when you're hurting, I almost think that that's a really good, like you have to keep going. But you have to learn as well. Like that was the last, I think that was the last major lesson that I learned with trading. Yeah, and I just kept on trading the way I do. I really focused on risk management after that, and I had a period where I said to myself, I'm only going to take one trade a day, which lasted for about a week. Then I started taking more, but I just wanted to take one trade a day so I could record and like log every one of those trades and just get into the habit of it. So that really helped me. So after I made a big loss, I started logging all of my trades, and then by having accountability to yourself, like if you've got like a book or a spreadsheet or something that you're using, you're not going to want to fill that up with this trade made a loss, this trade made a loss, this trade made a loss every time. Whereas if you're just taking bad trades and you cut it and you don't log it, you forget about it by the time the next trade is done. So yeah, I started journaling all of my trades, and I don't do that so much anymore. Yeah, I do that now and again. If I go on a losing, if I start going on like, if I lose a few trades in a row, I'll start to journal them again, because I just find that gets me out of the habit of losing. So as soon as I start to take accountability for my trades again, I'm like, right, I'm writing this shit down. I'm not allowing myself to continue doing these bad trades. But my accountability now is this group. So instead of journaling my trades, I know other people are watching me. So so that kind of gives me that has the same effect for me personally. Like if I know other people are watching me, then I'm not going to start making shit trades. Like that would just be silly. Otherwise, no one's going to listen to me anymore. And I know I had this bullish bias yesterday. So my bias was yesterday that this would, well, where is the line? Was that it would do this, sweep the lows, and then we'd get a move into this liquidity before going lower. But I was aware of the other scenarios as well. That was my favored trade. But I was also aware from the levels that we'd set, and this is why I like price action trading, is that yes, this trade was working, but then we came up, and like I was saying in the video yesterday, this was a huge area, and like I closed a really significant amount of my trade here. So this was an acre point of control. It was our local golden pocket. It was our previous day point of control. At that point, what I was looking for was something like this, but that never happened. You made this low, and as soon as that got taken and market structure changes, then you're out of that trade. It's done, and you start to look at what else is going to happen. So I was profitable yesterday here. I had taken profit, closed the majority of my position. I added back on here, and then I got stopped out. And yeah. And then again here, what was it? I bought these lows. So again, if you sweep the lows, they're a good trade. Like, you can buy the lows as soon as price stalls and you see price stop, then you take your profit early. And then once again, like I got my trade, I took profit, I had my stop in profit. So you move your stop loss up into profit, and then I went to bed and that trade had gone. But I'd hit my first take profit and I hadn't made a loss. So that's what you do with trading. And then on this occasion, I keep logging everything at the moment. It's too late to get into shorts for me. So on this occasion, I'd bought 48,600 and I bought 48k. So I have an average here of about 48.3. And this now is more of a swing position. I do have more laddered entries below. So I've hit two of them. I've hit 48.6. I've hit 48. Oops. And then I have more down here if they should come down here. Mike K, how do you manage your portfolio for reasons? I'm not going to say that word on stream too much because I know YouTube looks at it. But yeah, how do I manage my portfolio? I don't really. I do. So I'm self-employed, and I'd declare like anything that comes out of. So if I ever pay myself, then I obviously have to declare that. But the vast majority of my money is just in crypto, and it has been for the last 4 years. And yeah, that's not it's not a concern to me. So anything, if I do need that money, then I get taxed on that. But yeah, yeah, that kind of thing isn't a concern for me. Yeah, it's like Simon says, it's an asset until you cash it. So it's always going to be an asset for me. I just cash out when I need to. Why would you need to do those kind of things when you have things like US dollar tether, where if crypto does crash, you can move over into the stock market, you can move into other assets. So yeah. So So yeah, I pay on my earnings. But if I'm not paying myself, then I don't need to pay on any more on that. Martin, I've got a Coinbase card, and I use Revolut, and I have a business bank account that I can use crypto with. I might get a Swissborg card as well. So yeah. Cool. I think I'm gonna stop streaming now. I had some videos to make today, but I don't think they're gonna get many views because they were like, what are the best 5 coins to pick in a bull market or something like that. It's just playing the YouTube game. Oh, it's on log. Yeah, I think I'm gonna head off now, have some breakfast. I haven't even had breakfast yet. And yeah, so yeah, what Martin's saying in the group is really true. If you're self-employed and stuff, then anything's an expense. Yeah, you can just write it off. You know what happens when you stop streaming? I know, that's why I've put an alert here. Apologies in advance. I've put my alert here. I think I'm also going to put an alert here. Actually, let me just go good exclamation mark, and now let me edit this to bad exclamation marks. So now my phone will tell me what happens next. Cool. All right. Yeah, I'm off. Let's see which one of these gets hit first. Please, let's hope it's the good one. We will soon find out. All right. Cheers, guys. And I will... It's Friday night, so depending on if anyone is still wanting to continue this tonight, I'll probably have a few beers tonight, and yeah, we will see you all later. Bye.